we're going to now look at this beautiful image that you've been able to see from my phone. There we go. First off, the chicken sandwich. It looks very tasty. That's a good-looking chicken sandwich. This is part of why I didn't immediately hate the ad. I mean, I know that the characters look sort of like they're out of the Lorax movie from the background, don't they? Doesn't this look like what would happen in the Lorax, even with the commercialism and stuff? It's like this feels like it's something out of the Lorax's universe, but I didn't hate it. I was just like, yeah, yeah, it's a good ad. I remember it. It would be on and I'd be like, oh hey, it's the GrubHub ad. That's what this is known as. Even though the specific video is called the delivery dance, it is colloquially known as the GrubHub ad. This guy, apparently there is fan art of him. I have yet to see it, but I have seen memes, many memes. A lot of them replace the music. He has his pinky up, as you do when eating a very elegant burger. This is the pinnacle of elegance, what you're looking at right here. Also, something else that I liked about it is that this ad is very well animated. Look at his beard. He has individual beard hairs, and his clothing has fabric texture to it. It's like a lot of work went into this ad that the animators had done. His hair is very curly. This was not done just instantly on a whim. A lot of care and effort went into making this ad. When I first saw this, I was just like, this seems very awkward and cringy, but I like it. And I mean, not only do I like awkward and cringy stuff sometimes when it's good, but like, it felt like there was work that went into making this, that people enjoyed making it. I didn't feel like people hated making this. And like, I just thought about, man, somebody was paid to do this. This was somebody's job to get into the industry, you know? So I was just like, you know what? I hope that good things happen to these people. The dislikes on this are, oof, 114,000 to 27K likes. I'm gonna go for the underdog amount and give it a like. We need to study the world and the lore. Oh, we already missed 1 second in. We missed some of the very vitally important lore. Okay, first off, the child. This image. Look at how silly this looks. Look at how weird this is. I love this. Look at it. Look at that child. I know I've seen that child somewhere before this Grubhub ad. He reminds me of someone, and I don't know what. So he's staring, just, he's just staring with the biggest eyes. It looks almost like claymation in a way. He just, he looks like he's something out of like Aardman, and then his dad is CGI, and it's just like, all right, there he goes. He's just a chill dude walking in. They have very modern chairs. They have an orange kitchen with a blue refrigerator. That's my jam. Those are my colors. I love those. And the kid, while he walks by, he's very like shaky almost, and he looks forward. Look at that. He takes the quickest little look. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! You're looking at me. Stop it. Why do they look into the camera? It's like they know your soul is there and they're watching you. He's just like, oh. This commercial is the embodiment of that moment on The Simpsons where Lenny gives a thumbs up to Mr. Burns, and he's just like, ah. That's this. That's this entire man's face right here. Anyway, we need the deep lore of this. So this child is sitting there. He's looking forward, and yeah, like the dad is coming in. He doesn't shift to look towards the dad. He's looking diagonally at something towards the direction of the dad's phone from an angle. He's looking at something that we cannot see from this perspective because he was not initially looking at his father from the angle that he's positioned at, and then he gives that very quick knowing glance to the audience, knowing that you know that you can see him, he knows you exist. This child is aware of your existence, but whatever is off camera is far more pressing and terrifying and shocking. And this child is just like, I have seen the end of days. There's no help that will save us from what is slightly beyond the camera. And then the dad is just like, oh my gosh, son, you gotta see this. I'm gonna order from the GrubHub app. And the child is just traumatized. Like, like there's some sort of evil demonic entity slightly off screen. And the child is just accepting death. And he looks over at you and is just like, there is nothing that we can do. Our days as a species are numbered. Meanwhile, the dad is ordering from GrubHub, and to escape it all, he is just casually entering the sandwich dimension. And it's just like, yeah, there's death going on, buddy. There's death going on. Oh, look at them all. They're dancing while that child is clearly traumatized over something. There, now he's looking up at the dad for a second, and he looks over at you because he knows what's about to happen. You see, he knows the dad is not going to take this seriously. He knows that the dad is just going to do what he does all the time. This is just a regular thing for them. Within universe, the dad just enters the GrubHub dimension. Every time you order from GrubHub, it's sort of like a Digimon almost, except time continues forward instead of Digimon where time stops. Like in the real world, it goes so slow that time is almost stopping, and then they just kind of disappear for a second and they come back. Or maybe more like Cyber Chase rather. They just disappear into another dimension for a brief set of time, and then they come back. And the dad and other assorted adults within this universe, they all enter the snack dimension, the GrubHub dimension. You know Good Mythical Morning, where they reach in and then go to the snack dimension? This is like that in-between space that they have to go through before they can get there. They always, like, the portal to the snack dimension is through the GrubHub dimension, and they don't... Good Mythical Morning has known about this for years. They just haven't wanted to tell you about the dark secret that is looming about these poor people who need the escapism of going into the delivery dance boogie dimension to get away from the horrors of life. Meanwhile, the child there is aware of the truth, aware of the follies of mankind, but there's nothing that can be done about it. But he looks at you thinking that maybe in just the smallest reach to the stars of hope that it could never happen. Like the chances of reaching your hand up and grabbing a star from the night sky. That's what he does with his eyes, looking towards you, hoping that maybe you could be the one to save them from the evil, I don't know, maybe it's like the black mist. It's just slightly off screen. It's slowly consuming their world, and it's in their house, and he sees it, and it's moving very slowly, and the father is just trying to pretend that it doesn't exist, and he's just happily ordering from GrubHub. There he goes, the family perk, the chicken sandwich. He taps on the sandwich, it bounces, because that's how the GrubHub app totally works. It creates diamonds. The GrubHub app is actually a free-to-play thing, and every time you tap on the food, you earn diamonds to be able to buy your next meal. It's like, actually, no, it's like a cash back system, so you earn it, and then you're able to get some back. No, that actually makes sense. That wasn't supposed to happen. Anyway, so there's a toaster in the background. There's just a sort of very orbular, circular toaster. I have to tap on the screen or else it'll go dark and then to my screensaver. People went to a lot of work to render the shot of the father pushing on the burger to create diamonds. That with the toaster in the background. This was like a whole day's worth of work right here. And he tapped on the burger, and now it's melting the world. It's coating it in like the what do you call it? The Baby Bell cheese wax. That's what's happening to the world. They're entering the GrubHub dimension, and the child is looking up at his father, knowing, oh, we're going back into the GrubHub dimension. But no matter how long we stay here, the regular world will be doomed. There's nothing we can do. Once our food is delivered and we finish consuming it in order to sustain our lives, we have to exit the GrubHub dimension, and then time will continue on our own. We have such limited time left. Father, don't send us to the GrubHub dimension. We must find a way to solve this, or at least figure out a way to solve it while time is slowed in the GrubHub dimension. And the father, rather than staring at you, hoping that against hope that you will be like Link saving Termina in Majora's Mask from the moon collapsing. You'll be able to turn back time to stop an apocalyptic fate from destroying the world. He instead looks at you like Lenny, going, "Arr." and chooses to eat a sandwich while the world burns. Because really, isn't that the only thing that we can do in these times? Eat a sandwich while the world burns. He accepts it. He knows that there's nothing that he can do. And now he looks at you with a happy smile, saying, now that everything is hopeless, you want to just boogie in the Grubhub dimension? And then he starts to do his very sensual hip shaking ritual. This is to attract a mate. He will shortly. More people will be flocking to this dimension. There are other parents in the dimension as well who are doing this simultaneously, and they all can kind of meet up briefly. So we're only seeing the window into one family, while this is actually happening to numerous other families, or other people. Who knows? Who knows if you can even enter the Grubhub dimension if you don't have a family? Because they're advertising the family perk. So here he is. He's continuing his ritual dance there. We got to look at his socks. Orange socks. I actually like those socks because I love orange. They're orange and purple, which immediately makes me think of Dora the Explorer, because those were kind of her colors, I think. No, wait, it's like Go Diego Go had the orange backpack and she had purple backpack, and so whenever I think of orange and purple, I think of Halloween and Dora the Explorer. So he has Dora the Explorer socks in my head canon. Excuse me, the canon of this world. There he is. There. Oh, thank you. And look, he's attracted mates. Not in the romantic kind, but mate as in like the friend, like chums. Like you're my mates, mate. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of grub. Ahoy, mateys! You're the mates, the friends. So there are other adults in the snack dimension with also rendered hair and rendered textured fabric because it's very important. They're all very stylized and the animation is very nice. Here they are showing you what they have chosen to enter the Grubhub dimension with. This is what they choose to spend their time with sushi instead of chicken sandwich, because to each their own. We're all able to be united together in the Grubhub dimension while the world burns, and eat sushi, which is cold and refreshing, and not at all the horrible burning sensation of the void slowly coming to destroy the land. And here they are. They're showing it to you briefly. Then it changes angle as the father disappears for a moment. I don't know if they're in their own separate bubble or if there are multiple bubbles. Like, I don't know if they're connected to essentially the Grubhub Dimensions version of LAN, where only they exist, only the people in the general vicinity to each other. Um, and then when they all connect together, then they get uploaded to the Grubhub cloud. That's the way that the Grubhub dimension works. So he eats his slightly faster than she does. Right now she looks sort of like a chipmunk due to the way that the rice looks sort of like teeth. So he consumes it and is just enjoying himself. He knows that this is his one ticket out of enjoyment. He ordered a single piece of sushi as his escape from reality, because that's all you can order from Grubhub. That's the only way that you can afford it, just ordering a single sushi piece. She also ordered a single sushi piece, and he's thoroughly enjoying the bite that he has left. Here they go. She's enjoying it too. They're just enjoying life away from the scariness of death. And then here we have Mrs. McSmug salad, um, while the other adults are grooving because, hey, you know what? It's we're all gonna die. They just found another person who they could connect to their Grubhub server with. The dad is just gone at the moment. He's disappeared. They don't know where he is. Even in the Grubhub dimension, you never know who exactly you're going to end up meeting. So they're taking it in strides. She's doing a pose where it looks like she's in a straitjacket, and he looks like he is an angry gorilla man. And they're just being themselves away from the confines of society as she smugly looks at you, going like, this is a salad. Mm. So she has chosen a salad as it's there's slightly more to it than the sushi, which also every individual leaf of the salad, at least that we can see from this angle, has been rendered. They made very careful, delicious-looking salad leaves. They wanted to make sure that the food looked very, very tasty, as it is an ad for generic food in general, as it's the service of Grubhub. And whatever they connected to suddenly also connected to a disco ball light. If any of you have seen Brutal Moose, where he's in the televoid and stuff like that, and stuff kind of just shows up here and there, and he's just like, oh, well, this is here now, better make the most of it. That's sort of like what their existence is right now. So like, there's a disco ball in a room where nothing is happening, and time is still going, but it's nicer here, it's safer here, and maybe time moves slower, but they're never quite sure because no clocks exist. So they're not quite sure if they spend more time in the Grubhub dimension or not. All they know is to give into their hedonistic tendencies of grooving and consuming food. That is the way that they live. That is what they have to do for their minds to cope with the unimaginable reality that is non-existence slowly coming to breach their world. Yeah, and the music is a symbol of that. It's the chant of the the Forsaken, and they need to band together to try and find a way to stop it. But it seems like it's far too much for them. So instead, it's in a way it's almost depressing, as they realize that it is so monumental of a task that they most likely would not be able to solve it. So instead, they just decide to fully embrace their oncoming demise and dancing, doing their delivery dance. And now see, she's now in a dimension where they don't exist anymore. They've just disappeared. Even nobody is safe. All of your friends could just disappear in an instant, just like that. And all she has now is her Grubhub salad. So, with fervorous vigor, she decides the only thing that she truly has control over is the intensity that she bites this salad on. And of course, she has her pinky up because she is not a heathen. She is she's a very sophisticated this thing. And there she goes. She violently consumes it like a lizard eating its prey, knowing that this is one of the few things that she can control in her world. This is a choice that she can make, and she chooses to do this. This is what gives her the feeling of comfort and power and stability in her world, when even people in the Grubhub dimension will disappear. And for a brief moment, she looks at the camera to show you, while her eyes are open, that she was like, yeah, and now she's looking back, content in her actions, fully satisfied in her life choices. That is the face of a woman who has no more regrets, as she has made peace with all of them. And now we have this woman here. I can't pause the ad, so it's just moving faster. There we go. So we have this woman who I think is most likely pregnant, unless she has just been eating far more Grubhub than somebody should in a singular day. But let's go with the fact that she's pregnant. So if she's pregnant, she knows that she has to. There's nothing she can do to save her child besides go to the Grubhub dimension with her child. She's not even sure if the child will even be able to be born by the time the world is fully destroyed. Um, so she decides to use this unknown power, to which humans are still not even completely sure of how the Grubhub dimension works, but she knows that there is nothing else that she can do besides try to give a pleasant life for her child, which is why she's drinking a very sugary shake, which I'm not sure if having a lot of excess sugar is good for you while you're pregnant, but she knows that they will most likely be dying, and you know, the baby can't even necessarily appreciate it, but she knows that she needs to give the baby like just a little bit of sweetness and love before the world is slowly consumed by darkness. So she dances with groovy beats and slippers. She starts to fall to the ground. Look at that face. She's realizing that she might be upset with what she has done, but she, deep in her heart, she knows that she can't fix anything. And then when she realizes that she has to give up all of the the tenseness in her, consuming her soul, She's finally able to be free. She's able to let go and realize that she has to live in the moment. And a sudden wave of wind blows her hair back as she makes the realization that it is only her, her child, and a delicious drink to consume. Oh, you really shouldn't be rotating violently when you're pregnant. But and look at the rim underneath that plastic drink. They rendered the plastic rim, those little rims underneath it. My goodness, even her sleeve is rendered. They went to so much work for every frame of this thing. Look at how delicious that shake looks. You know how much extra effort went into making sure the food looked realistic so it looked delicious? That's incredible. And here her mouth is just rather creepy looking, I must say. Oh, and she also has her pinky up. See, that's the symbol of the Grubhub dimension. It's having your pinky up in the Grubhub dimension is a show of we are strong as humans, we are classy, we are dignified. We're going to completely throw away inhibitions, but we're not going to become animals. We're going to remain sophisticated. So she drinks pinky up, which is actually what you do when you that's the only one that's actually correct because you have your pinky up when you drink, usually with tea, but you know, she chose a chocolate drink instead of tea this time. And so she drinks it. Her hair is still blowing backwards due to a fan that was thrown into the dimension. Some of them get a disco ball, some of them get a fan. You never quite know. But she's slowly enjoying it, and she knows you're here, and she knows that there's nothing you can do about it. But she has accepted it, and she just wants to enjoy a little bit of sweetness in her remaining hours. And now here they all are. Um, Mrs. McCarran on the left over here. She doesn't look like she's having as much of a good time. It looks like she really needs to poop, but she also knows that she might not have the opportunity to have the other 5 adults all together. So she's doing her best to enjoy this moment. The dad has finally returned back to the dimension, and they're all accepting this. It's like, hey, everybody else here is in in a state of understanding where they know they all know about the pain that's in the outside world, but there's nothing that they can really do, or is there? They don't really think that they can do too much, and unfortunately they're slowly being beaten down and coming to a beautiful acceptance that it's all about caring about everybody else before everything fully goes under. But could things be saved? We may never know, because unfortunately the corporate hand of Grubhub is very pleased with making money before the world ends. So that they had their advertising on that bag that the woman is carrying. That's where she got the salad in. The other people had consumed the packaging that they had in order to stay in the dimension a little bit longer. They needed to have food with them, so they considered their packaging food. That's why the others don't have it yet. But she didn't finish hers yet. She didn't finish her salad and everything, so she still has it. And it turns out that woman also had an extra piece of sushi just laying around in her pocket that she was just able to pull out. That's pocket sushi right there. Who knows if they are the final people left in this earth, or if there are other people who are trying to set up a resistance to the end of days disaster slowly off screen that's destroying everybody. All they know is that within their power, within their capabilities, they know that they can't really do anything about it, but they want to treat everybody else in the human species as equals. They know that there are things bigger than them in this world, and to truly appreciate that is to eat Grubhub and only consume Grubhub. Grubhub will send you to the Grubhub dimension, and that is all they truly care about. And now they are all doing so to attract other people by doing the hip swaying dance. Oh, there are the diamonds, because the Grubhub dimension is free to play. And there they are, very good. He's still enjoying life. He's just enjoying his sandwich and boogieing. Meanwhile, the tragic existence is still going on. His eyes were closed when he was sent back. He doesn't even realize that he's no longer in the Grubhub dimension anymore. It's quite sad, as the line between reality and fantasy and escapism is slowly being blurred to the point where he doesn't even realize it at first. The child has one eye looking forward and one eye looking towards his father, as he's, I guess, like a chameleon now. There are 2 other burgers off to the side. We're not sure who they are for. Maybe they have other family members. Maybe they just want a second burger. The child is holding the burger, and the father is the only one who's eating it, while the child, I don't think, has eaten the burger and is instead just choosing to stare at his father. while he pities his existence, knowing that there are imminent dangers within the world. But the father comes to his senses, and it turns out he wasn't completely unaware all along. He knows what's going on, and he points to the child and says, "No, son, we are not qualified to save the world. There's not much that we can do. But son, eat the burger and enter the GrubHub dimension, for it is the only way that we'll be able to find peace and solace in this terrifying world that we call home." And the child, amazed at the profanity of this, is shocked. He looks towards you, wondering if it's okay to fully succumb to escapism, knowing that even if he were to try to do something that could help, it would be so minuscule and would just cause him even more pain. And he knows that we can't do anything to help save their world. He knows that, for better or worse, once he goes in for this bite, he won't be the same person. He's going to be a changed child. Does he choose to give up any slight chance he has at any sort of help? But even if he doesn't, would it even be worth it with how much he'd be able to contribute? Or does he just finally give in to fully accepting the enjoyment of his last days that could potentially be around? He knows what's up. He looks at you. He knows that you're judging him. He knows that you're not going to look upon him favorably regarding his decision. But he hops into the GrubHub dimension anyway. And there he goes, dancing away. He goes from be living in fear to giving up any chance that he might have to help, but knowing that he truly could not do anything worthwhile, regardless of whether he helped or not. And so he has fully succumbed to the sandwich. Thank you, GrubHub. Thank you. Well, that was the deep spiritual journey that actually existed within the deeper confines of this GrubHub ad. Who knew? Who knew that it was actually an extremely highly thought-provoking short film, thanks to GrubHub and the GrubHub dude. There he is, this guy. Such a profound, intellectual being. Look at him. Look at him. Who knew that there was so much depth behind biting a sandwich vigorously? Look at this man. Thank you for joining me on this adventure of just absolute stupidity. But I believe it's that time again, friends. If you like what I do, don't be shy to give a thumbs up. Have a pleasant day, everyone. And this is Handington, signing off. Bye.